What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a good weekend. So the conditions out there were a little rough for me today, so I wasn't able to fish, but I wanted to do this video talking about my 6 favorite saltwater lures. And I'd love to know in the comments below, what are your favorite saltwater lures as well? But I wanted to start things off with what I would consider to be the best for a beginner, and some might even say the best all around saltwater lure. And that is the soft plastic paddle tail. That right there is a Z-Man 4-inch paddle tail. 4-inch is kind of my favorite all around size, but what makes it so good for beginners, because all you got to do is cast it out and retrieve it straight back to you. That paddle on there creates the vibration in the water, and you know, anything out there that eats a little bait fish will eat that thing, you know, from snook to flounder to redfish to mackerel. That thing will catch almost everything. Just a great all-around bait, and I pretty much never leave home without them. I would even say I have one of those tied on maybe as high as 75% of the time. Love those baits. They're fantastic. They're great for a beginner and someone who's been doing it a long time. The paddle tail lure, fantastic bait. Now this next one might be the most versatile lure out there. If I could only use one lure the rest of my life, it would be this one, and that is the bucktail jig. Now the bucktail jig, like I said, very versatile. You can go out on the beach, jig it off the bottom. You can straight retrieve it like the paddle tail. Everything will eat this thing. It works really well in calm conditions as well. If you were to compare it with the paddle tail, I would go with the bucktail. When conditions are calm, go with the paddle tail. When there's some chop on the water, some wind. But the bucktail, I mean, everything eats the bucktail. It's just a fantastic lure. It's one of the oldest ones out there. I think they've been being made and fished with for over 100 years. Our great-great-grandfathers were using those things. And I really think every angler should have at least a handful in their tackle box at all times. Okay, so bait number 3. This one is a ton of fun to use. This one is scented, and it's a shrimp imitation. And that's right, I'm talking about the gulp shrimp. The gulp shrimp is fantastic bait. It comes out of the package scented. The scent is so strong, it's incredible. It's almost too strong because the puffer fish will chew those things to death. But it's a bait that catches everything from jacks to snook to redfish to flounder and everything in between, tarpon. Just a great bait. You know, there's a lot of shrimp imitation lures out there. The DOA is a great one. I tend to go for the gulp just because I like the scented aspect of it, and I just tend to catch a lot. But you got to be careful with these because you will be buying them very often because they get chewed up like crazy. So the gulp shrimp, great bait. And that is number 3 on my list. Okay, so this next one of my favorites to use, ton of fun. I love using it when the water's a little bit cold, although it works all year round. And that is the MirrOlure Mirrodine suspending twitch bait. Now this bait, like I said, suspending twitch bait, you can cast it out. It has kind of a slow descent as it kind of rocks like that. Most of the time when you're using it, you're giving it kind of a twitch pause. The pause is typically when a fish hits it. I mean, snook crush this thing. And I swear, I don't know if it's just in my head, but it seems like when the bite is slow, I can tie on a Mirrodine and I'll just immediately start catching fish. I don't know why that is. Fish love it. Obviously, if you look at the way it's designed, it kind of perfectly imitates that pilchard, that white bait that's flashing around in the water in schools. Just a fantastic bait. Can't recommend it enough. For any of you beginners out there, I would definitely consider going and grabbing some Mirrodines for sure. Okay, so this next one, kind of like the Mirrodine, it's a hard plastic plug, but this one right here is a jerk bait. And I'm talking about the Rapala X-Rap. Super popular bait in my area for snook fishermen. People use them offshore for thing, you know, tuna, that kind of stuff, and kingfish. Just a great lure. It's got, as you can see, that lip on it, which helps it to dive down into the water. That one right there can go between, I think, 3 to 5 feet. Just a great bait. I typically use it in that twitch pause, kind of like the Mirrodine, but you can also rip that thing through the water, and it has a great swimming action for those fish that are fired up and wanting to hit something moving quick. So just a great plug all around. Definitely recommend the Rapala X-Rap. Okay, and last but certainly not least, this lure right here, I would say is the most fun lure to use in my opinion, and that is the Saltwater walk the dog style lure like that. That one right there is made by Salt Strong. It's called a Moonwalker. I got it because it's got the inline hooks on it. As you can see, a lot of my plugs, I put inline hooks on them. I just like them because they're easier to deal with than trebles, and it seems to me like they keep fish buttoned up a little bit better in my opinion. But the Saltwater walk the dog style lures, for those of you that are new to fishing, you cast this thing out, it floats on top of the water, and you basically are giving it a constant twitch, twitch, twitch as you're reeling it in. Now this one's a little bit trickier to use than the other things. It's gonna take some practice to get used to this, but basically while you're twitching it, it's got a side to side walk the dog action. And the blow ups you get on these from fish coming up and feeding on them is incredible. It's so much fun, whether it's bass or snook. Redfish will come up and hit them. To see a fish come unglued and blow up on these Saltwater lures is just a thrill. And when you get used to using them, I know you're gonna have a lot of fun with those style plugs. You can get them in all kinds of different sizes. You know, the typical size is around that 4 or 5 inch range. Just a great plug. It's really known for snook fishing and of course bass fishing because, you know, those fish have their eyes kind of looking up a little bit, and they have the, you know, that extended lower jaw that helps them feed on fish that are above them. But just a great plug, and I would definitely recommend any angler to have some walk the dog style plugs. Okay guys, so that pretty much wraps it up. Let me know in the comments what you think about my picks. What would your picks be for your favorite saltwater lures? You know, did I miss anything? What have you had the most confidence in? I would love to see it down below. And once again, thanks for watching. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you can get notified of all my stuff coming up. I'm trying to post at least 1 video a week, but you know, hey, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.